Welcome in, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Dear dads, if you're truly trying to become the father your children deserve, you're in the right place. Today we'll share a story today of something that I've done, something that I've mixed up along the way. Maybe I thought a certain thing, realized through experience, through patience, that I was wrong, I needed to be maybe correct that thought and allow me to move forward and to continue to, better the relationships with my kids. And so hopefully the things that I'm going to share today, hopefully you can relate. Hopefully, I feel like this is a super common thing for sure when I the topic today, but I think you should relate, and I think you should be able to relate, because at the end of the day, it's about getting better. So just some encouragement, a little, again, pie in my face, if you will, to let you know exactly where I tripped up at, so that way I can help you guys avoid that, or maybe get out of that a little sooner than you would have been without having that information. So, so awesome. So yeah, obviously, we're excited, I'll share, always excited to share, with other dads and, helping the community out. And so, yeah, anyway, I'll start it off, but I used to think, and I don't know if you guys have ever start a sentence with I thought, but yes, I did. I always think and I thought, but there was a time where I thought being a good provider was enough. There was a time where I thought that, man, there's nothing else that I can be doing. There's nothing else that you could ask me that I needed to do. I was a provider. I was a good provider. I was paying the bills. I was contributing to the food. I was contributing to the rent. I was contributing to buying my kids clothes and toys and things like that. And I felt like, dude, that's all I needed to do. And for a while, that was something that I was proud about. I was proud, because when I think about it, I was proud to be a provider. Okay. I'm just going to get that out there. I was a proud provider. Okay. And I think you should be. But when I step back and look at my childhood and look at the way that I was raised, I was raised by a strong, prideful provider that was proud of that. And I appreciate my parents both. My dad was in the military. Actually, both were in the military. And I appreciate him. The military, once you're in the military, man, it has a way to afford you certain things. It has a way to feed you, your family, and puts you in this position where you might have not have been if you weren't there. So shout out to the military. Shout out to the benefits. We definitely ate some benefits for sure, and lived better for sure being in the military. Didn't have to worry about certain things. And I had kids while I wasn't in the military, and I had kids when I was in the military. And then after the military, I have kids. So, there's a a plethora of experiences that I can choose from, to where I can tell you, when you're not in the military and that check isn't guaranteed and it's not coming in, I mean, oh my gosh, it's hard out there. Okay. So anyways, but one of the things that was one of the things I thought, I'm good. I'm a good provider. So we're all good. The kids should be happy. You should be appreciative, and I joke about this today, but it's funny because my kids never, ever, when they were younger, said, "Dad, thank you so much for paying the rent. Dad, we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for keeping the heat bill on, paying the electricity. Dad, I just want to tell you, good job." They never did that, not once. Now, obviously, as they get older and as they I got two of my kids paying their own bills. They're both working and paying their own bills, the two older ones. And so I think you start to become, this is where life teaches you. You allow life to teach the lessons. And I think they're at a place where they're like, wow, we got to pay bills. This is what my dad was going through. And he had kids. Like, oh my gosh. And so that's what I laugh about today. Back then it wasn't funny, because back then I think my mindset, because I did this, I was expecting this. And I think a lot of times as dads, it's too easy for us. We're going to pay the bills. We got to do our job. We're going to handle our responsibility. And so the expectation is that the kids will handle their responsibility. Whether, wherever that is, that's in school or that's cleaning up in the room or treating their siblings with respect or their parents with respect, right? Cleaning up after themselves, what have you. Since we are good at taking care of our business, dads, right? Then we expect that from everyone else. And I had to learn that even though first of all, I was an adult, but second of all, even though I was good and I took pride in what I was doing, that's something that took years in the making. That's something that took years. I don't know if I would be prideful and all this stuff and so happy to pay my electricity and without even getting a thanks, had I not had kids. So it's all a circle. It's all a circle the way I look at it. But man, being in the military, just give you a little snapshot. Being in the military. What does that mean? I was on orders a lot. I was gone. I was working nights, days. I was working out of state, overseas, and guess what? That's what comes with being in the military. So yes, I was paying the bills. Yes, I was providing financially. But guess what? The military did. They took their dad's presence. They took my kids, their dad's presence out of the home because I was quote unquote military property, if you will. So wherever they said go, I went. Whenever they said jump, I said how high. It's just the way it was. And I think so yeah, that was our experience, and so what I learned though, and this took me a while to learn, what I realized is that more than just like presents and toys, more than just, food and clothes on their backs, more than just all the stuff that they weren't even saying thanks anyway for, what they were looking for and what they needed was my presence, like me actually being there. So more than a present, they needed my presence, right? It's not just a play on word. I didn't say they shouldn't have got presents. I didn't say they didn't need presents at all in the form of gifts, toys, right? Things they wanted. But what they needed, if you really think about it, Dad, what our kids need is us. They need us to be present. My son he's 7 years old now, and my youngest, or my second youngest, because my youngest is 7 weeks. But my 7-year-old, guess what? He'll go on the game. He goes on his Nintendo Switch and he'll play. But you know when he has the best time? When I'm playing with him. When we can go side by side playing, and we're doing a co-op or we're playing, all these games, right? He enjoys it more because I'm there. He can turn on the TV. I mean, he can, he's a 7-year-old man, so he can teach us how to do some of the things on the TV screen now with these smart TVs and everything like that with Alexa. But guess what? He enjoys it more when I'm there. And I'm not talking about being there and snoring, which I've done. I'm not talking about being there and being on your phone, which I've done. Okay, I'm guilty. I'm talking about being there. I'm talking about going, wow, what was that? Even if you're watching, you don't have to be playing the game with him. I realized I just needed to be there, ask him questions about what he was doing. And it became engaging. I became the go-to. Now, not only was the game important to him, me being there was important to him. Does that make sense? Hopefully you guys are catching that. It took me a while to catch that, but once I realized that, I was like, oh my goodness. Our kids just want us to be there, to listen, to give responses back. Wow. Is that so hard, dads? Now I get it. We do enough. I just named a bunch of stuff that I did that they didn't say thank me for. They didn't say thank you for. But guess what? What they needed was just me being there. It's as simple as that. And so obviously eventually I had to work on that. I had to figure out, how to organize my time, do things in blocks. And when I was home, I was home. And I'm not perfect at it. My wife still reminds me today, babe, did you notice you had something in your ear? Yeah, it's an AirPod. And I can be listening to a motivational talk. I can listening to music. I can be on the phone, like a phone call from work. Regardless of what it is, I'm not home and I'm not present. And so I still need help at times. So that's exactly what it was for me, to learn how to be present more, to learn how to be there more. And that's what I got excited about, and that's what I'm excited today because I realized that like the availability is what the kids need. They don't need my overtime. They don't need my being always constantly boggled down with something else more important than them, because it's nothing's more important than them. Wouldn't you agree? If I ask any dad who was the most important, it would be wife, and if they're single, it'd be kids. Simple as that. Wife and kids, single, they're just kids or whatever. There would no way that they would be like, yeah, my job is way more important than, right? That business deal is way more important. You know, the basketball game, the text message, right? The social media posts, that's more important. No, it's not more important. So again, it's just encouragement, something that I had to learn for myself, to be present, make sure I was available for my kids. And it was all of them, you know, and I got started sooner. My oldest is 22, right? But guess what? We get better every day, don't we? We have the ability to get back up, the ability to dust it off, and the ability to just go after it, right? Because aren't kids forgiving? Like, really, really think about it. Aren't they forgiving? Don't we just got to do is just keep showing up and keep giving our best, and our kids will love us? I want you guys to feel that. And so, you know, hopefully that makes sense. And you were encouraged today with my goof up, something that I thought that I was, you know, that I was a little off big time. Had I continued to just pay the bills and say, I pay the bills and that's it, that's all you're going to get from me. Oh my gosh, dramatically different relationships with my kids. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So hopefully that's encouragement. If you guys were encouraged today, you know, I would love you guys to subscribe and, you know, send this message to somebody that, you know, another dad, and join the community, join the Dear Dads community. So with that being said, let's go get better together. You guys have a good one.